The Defense Department's Inspector General's office found that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth could have endangered U.S. service members when he shared details about a military operation in a private Signal group chat. The Watchdog report found that Hegseth violated Defense Department policies when he used his personal device for official business to transmit sensitive military information to other Trump officials, as well as the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic magazine. CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor joins us now. So what were some of the key findings of the report?
As you mentioned, Lindsay, the IG found that the Defense Secretary, by sharing these details on Signal on his personal phone, violated Pentagon policies and by doing so risked endangering not only the mission but also the pilots involved in the mission because he shared those before the aircraft launched. The report did note that the Secretary, as Secretary of Defense, has the authority to declassify information, which the Pentagon has latched onto, claiming this report exonerates him from any wrongdoing. However, the report did fault him for violating Pentagon policy, and it notes that the details he shared in that chat were initially marked classified by the commander of U.S. forces in the Middle East. It's worth noting, Lindsay, that the Secretary did not sit down for an interview with the IG, which is unusual, and did not provide his personal phone to investigators. The Pentagon did provide some messages, but investigators had to rely heavily on the ones published by The Atlantic and were not able to confirm reports that the Secretary shared similar details in other Signal group chats at the time.
In the wake of this, Secretary Hegseth is claiming that the report was a total exoneration. Was it? And is there any additional fallout from this for Hegseth?
Well, the Pentagon did fault him for not following Pentagon policies. Democrats have come out and said that this shows that he does not have the judgment to be the Secretary of Defense, but Republicans have largely said, let's move on. And the president, in a statement released by the White House, said he stands by his Secretary of Defense. So right now, his job doesn't seem to be in jeopardy, at least over SignalGate.
Eleanor Watson, thank you. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang joins us now. Weijia, given all these controversies, does President Trump remain confident in Secretary Hegseth and military officials like Admiral Bradley?
Well, throughout the week, Lindsay, since this story first broke, the president has expressed his confidence in both of those leaders. Even during the cabinet meeting, President Trump was sitting next to Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and he said he's doing a great job. And even though the president said he was unaware of details about a second strike, he went on to defend the mission overall and why he believes it is so critical to completely destroy these drug boats that he claims is killing tens of thousands of Americans by the boat. And so he has publicly expressed his confidence and for Admiral Mitch Bradley, saying that he is an extraordinary man, Lindsay, during that same meeting.
The administration has currently justified these strikes, saying the U.S. is in a non-international armed conflict with drug cartels. It is designated terrorist organizations. If we take that at face value, although Congress has not declared war, what is the administration saying about how land strikes could fit into this?
Well, the president has teased many times now for several months that land strikes on Venezuela could be imminent. And that's exactly why a group of senators, 3 Democrats and 1 Republican, filed a war powers resolution to try to block the use of U.S. military force without the authorization of Congress. And of course, that has to go through the process, and it hasn't happened yet. But there could be a vote in the coming days on that because they argue that the president cannot be using these acts of force as it relates to potential land strikes and resources without congressional approval. The president hasn't really explicitly said whether he will formally ask Congress before he launches any land strikes, but he's talked about the need to continue this battle against what he calls a drug war from Venezuela and peddling drugs into the U.S., Lindsay. But again, even though the president has talked about the possibility of these land strikes, and we know he's pondered about them with his top military officials, still there is no time frame, no indication of when they could actually happen.
Weijia Jiang, thank you so much.